Hey folks, welcome to Tuesday's Market SITREP here at TGO Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Whiz, and looking at a little bit of a relief rally today after last week's carnage. Well, it was carnage unless you knew how to trade it, right? We predicted once we smashed or hit this 50-day moving average with some airspeed, I said we're heading down to the 200-day moving average. And if we don't hold it, it's lookout below. It looks like we're kind of holding it today. A little bit of a relief rally, but a one-day rally does not relief make. Nice looking trade that we're going to cover here at 1 o'clock. Our we did a bearish double vertical on Thursday on volatility, saying VXX or volatility is going to come in here. Scroll slower here. Risking about $5,700 to make $4,400. And let's take a look at what VXX is doing right now. And there you go. There's Thursday. And as we predicted, when volatility is cheap, you buy it, you get long volatility. And when volatility is expensive, and last week volatility went through the roof, you sell it. Okay, so bearish double vertical on VXX looking great, and that expires on Friday of this week, looking to go lower. Real quick, though, if you have no idea what a bearish double vertical is or how to trade volatility, I'll tell you what, I'm going to open up the doors to one of our live trade briefs tomorrow. It's called Accelerated Retirement. You can join us at 1 o'clock tomorrow. That's Wednesday, October 17th. All you have to do is head to go.topgunoptions.com/brief. And we're going to do a live trade brief at 1 o'clock. I'm going to take a look at volatility, where I think this rally's heading. And, obviously, I'm hearing a lot of folks saying, well, Netflix earnings today, will that save the FANGs? The answer is no. Some of these FANGs are done for, and their heydays are over with, like Twitter and Facebook and even Google. I mean, Google's starting to get in a little bit of trouble. Amazon will continue to be the Death Star, but I am bearish front month on these technology stocks. Real quick, though, let's talk through this Saudi Arabia situation. Mike Pompeo flew literally, 12, 14 hours for essentially a 15-minute meeting with the king. The kingdom, it's awful. Okay, George Bush, complete idiot. We were attacked on September 11th by 15 Saudi Arabians. And what did we do to Saudi Arabia? Nothing. Actually, we let some of the bin Laden family get on airplanes and leave this country. Tell you about some of that stuff over a beer. But we should be done kissing Saudi Arabia's ass. I get it. Cheap oil, and they're a hedge against the right side of the freak show over there, Iran. But when you have a brazen killing of who is a permanent American resident, that's in the old days. Ronald Reagan, who was it? A 19-year-old Army private. He get killed or wounded? I forget. Like in a disco in Berlin in the 80s, and after a little bit of investigation, they went to the president and said, "Hey, sir, it was the Libyans." The guy put an aircraft carrier off their coast and then also flew bombers from Great Britain and pounded the shit out of Libya. Even I think one of his 12 children was killed or something like that in this attack. You don't mess with an American citizen or even somebody like this. So this is going to get ugly. Steve Mnuchin, as a matter of fact, CNN today is actually posting a list of CEOs who are still going to the event, meaning, and it's funny, on social media, I predicted that this time last week, Steve Mnuchin, our Treasury Secretary, I'm still going to go to that event. If he goes, he's going to be the only dude there, and he's going to look like an idiot. Jamie Dimon's bailed, one of the Google heavies bailed. More or less every CEO, or at least business leader, has bailed out of this conference, and Steve Mnuchin is going to look like an idiot. You don't get to kill journalists, cut them up into little pieces and put them in suitcases and sneak them out of the back door. That's horrific. And if Donald Trump does not stand up to this, he's an idiot, and I'm going to rip him to shreds. This is awful, and it's not good. Why am I ranting about this? Because it impacts the defense stocks. I put on a short Raytheon spread last week because this is not good news. I mean, the president made a incredibly stupid move last week by saying, when people were like, hey, we got to suspend this $110 billion arms deal or even cancel it. And he said, it's not even on the table. That's ridiculous for a real estate mogul from New York to say. You never take anything off the table when you're negotiating. If they even sneeze about this deal, the defense stocks will implode. Raytheon had a huge bump last year when the president signed that $110 billion defense deal with Saudi Arabia. I think we should suspend it. I don't think we should cancel it, but we should at least put some teeth behind our, shaking or wagging of our finger. I used to rip Barack Hussein Obama apart, like with Putin invading Ukraine. Stop, or we'll say stop again. Do something. So we got to keep on an eye on the defense stocks. But this is not good for Saudi Arabia. They wanted to not get out of it, but kind of move away or diversify from just being kind of an oil country to this event was eventually was kind of called Davos in the desert. You know how all these limousine liberals and all these power folks go to Davos, Switzerland, and they hang out and with the beautiful people. Well, this was going to be the Davos of the desert, and it's over with. Still don't have a trade deal with China. I think the president might shake hands or grab lunch with President Xi Jinping at the end of November. That's the end of November, folks. We got to get through elections before that. So we got a lot of volatility coming. We don't even have a date where Mnuchin or Wilbur Ross, the Commerce Secretary, Larry Kudlow, or even Peter Navarro are even going to meet with anybody. So don't forget, on a day where the Dow's up 340 points, all glory is fleeting. This rally can fleet pretty quickly once the president comes out tomorrow with a tweet that says, "Hey, we're gonna ratchet up $75 billion in tariffs on China." So this is an interesting question. Like I said, we'll answer this, or I'll go through this tomorrow. Will corporate earnings calm the stock market nerves? Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Friday, but Goldman Sachs today, Morgan Stanley today knocked the cover off the ball. The other day when JP Morgan, Bank of America did really well, it was kind of the market kind of shrugged. So not seeing, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this global market rout is over. I predicted tech was going to implode. I've nailed each tech wreck, and I also predicted that China was going to roll over, and I had some nice bearish trades on the FXI, which we'll talk about tomorrow. So is it time to buy the dip? It's always time to buy a dip. If you try and time the market, you're going to end up in the long term losing money. But we'll see. I need one more day to see if this rally has got some airspeed behind it, and that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So that's why I'm going to open up tomorrow's brief to the public. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/brief and grab your slot. We'll talk tomorrow about oil. We're also going to cover CSX earnings, CSX reports, and we'll see how they do. What's CSX doing now? Actually, hold on. So CSX, obviously climbing out of the gutter here, but we'll see how CSX does. This is our transport pick. I think towards the end of the year, or this year, or beginning of the next year, the president's going to reattack on the whole infrastructure spending, and I think that's great news for CSX. Like I said, the FANG, it's over with. Facebook, you want to talk about interference in an election? You're looking at it. All enemies, foreign and domestic, and here's some domestic enemies. Facebook purging millions of users who have a conservative slant. Google canceling a Pentagon contract that they were going to get in because the Pentagon's not aligned with our corporate values, but they're more aligned with China's values. But don't get me started, guys. Stay away from all this stuff. Stay away from all the FANGs. Netflix really ain't a FANG. I don't know why we call it a tech stock. It's an entertainment stock, right? But also don't know why some people throw Amazon in there as a FANG. Amazon will live to fight another day, but it's not going to be pretty for the front months. We have to cover this as well. The JOLTS report, the jobs opening report, man. Look at this. It's crushing. That's one of the reasons the market's going higher today as well, is the jobs openings. Yeah, I've never seen this in my 26 years of on this planet. Kidding. Actually, I've been doing this for 26 years, but in 49, I've never seen. We have more jobs available in this country than we have people, legal and illegal, for jobs, and so that should really start helping hourly earnings. And this is good news, great news today. But again, we are one tweet, one Fed announcement, one something away from this market. We have to hold this 200-day moving average. This is a Braveheart hold moment right here, and if we don't do it, I don't even know. I talked yesterday in a roundtable I hosted. Nobody really knew where the bottom was, but somebody said, "Hey, back here, the last time we hit the 200-day moving average was what's that? Around 20, almost 2650-ish." my God, that would be bad. So hopefully corporate earnings save the day. But, and I don't use the word hopefully, folks. As an options trader, I really don't care whether the market's going up, down, or sideways. I love this movement. I love this volatility. And like I said, we'll talk about that tomorrow, especially our VXX bearish double vertical. Whenever you think something's going to go up or down with a vengeance, that's when we run over to our toolkit and we grab one of our cool tactics that's called a bearish double vertical. Been doing this mainly with my private coaching clients, but this one we threw on last week in our Analyze Your Trade session. All right, guys, I got to run. Like I said, join me tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Go.topgunoptions.com/brief, and we'll talk through all of this stuff. You'll be invited, or actually, I'm just opening up the doors to our regular accelerated retirement brief with my members. So you'll be seeing normal flight operations as a visitor, okay? And then I'll give you an opportunity to maybe get on board at the end. So have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless, and I'll see my members here at 1 o'clock for our primary live trade brief along with weekly options. God bless.